Good morning. Can you see how hard I'm trying this morning? Trying this hard because I sound like this. There's nothing embarrassing in my background, is there? No. I mean, besides just like the state of this room, but what you gonna do? Good morning. Good morning, class. Mike Wazowski. I don't have to. Well, no, I guess I do. I thought if I went into a higher register, I wouldn't sound like that, but I do. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Yes, I've been tested for COVID. No, I don't know what the results were. This is Texas. It takes a while. Welcome to Thank You Note Thursday. I'm just going to pull up my poll here. Make sure that it's active. Oh, fucker. I have to log in. You know what that means. It means I have to reset my password because I don't know my password. Oh, no. Look, I remember my password. That's nice. That's nice. We'll activate it. Activate. We've got 7 responses. Good job. I sound so sarcastic and mean in this voice. I don't know. I put on lipstick because, so here's the deal. I think I have a cold. I'm pretty sure it's just a cold. It feels a lot like a cold and it doesn't really match any of the symptoms of COVID. So I'm pretty sure it's a cold. But let's move on. One of the symptoms is, I guess, I just lose all pigment in my lips and they become exactly the same palette shade as the rest of me. And that surprised me and looked weird. And I spend a lot of my time on camera in my life now with the whole Zoom call thing. So I now am like hyper aware of every shape my mouth makes and I can't stop staring at it. Anyway, we're going to try not to stare at it. And I'm going to take off these glasses because I don't need them. I was using them. So these are my computer glasses. They're my blue blockers. They're also like you can't see my eyes where my eyes are. But so I don't need them for this. Like this isn't that intense on my eyes. Although it is surprisingly blue. Wow. Anyway. Surprisingly blue. What was I saying? Oh, I was going to wear them because it sort of demonstrates openly, physically, visually for everyone out there, demonstrates how I'm feeling internally, which is like I want to try, but I'm not going to. Why did this happen? This was my other method of showing people how I wanted to try, but I wasn't going to. I didn't take a shower today, so my hair looks a mess. So I put this on so that I have something on my head and it looks like I tried. But I didn't. And you know what? I feel a real big snot ball coming up. So I'm going to just, ow. Oh, shoot. I just hit my knee pretty hard on the desk. Hello. Welcome. Hello, little lady. My dog is here. Would you like to come up and see the world? Come on. Well, I guess you can't see the world. The world will see you, though. Here she is. Look at her being so cute. Oh, Juno, stand up. Stand up on your. Stand up. Stand up. There you go. Oh, look at her. She is so cute. Do you see her? Do you see her? Who's that? She'll bark at dogs on TV, but she won't bark at herself on a computer, I guess, is what we're learning today. Are we ready? Are we ready to get, oh, I love you too. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Would you like to get down now? I don't know what this means. It's very cute. You want me to scratch your belly, don't you? Is that what that means? See, she sees that Finn gets up on her laps all the time and gets lots of pets and snuggles. But she doesn't have the hops like Finn does. Finn flies. Finn is he's more like a, hello, can I help you? Don't lick me. I got makeup on. And I wash my face a lot this morning, so please like me. Oh, she's just so cute. Would you like to get down? Mommy can get you down. No, you don't need to get down yourself. Mommy can do it for you. Good girl. Good girl. She's very needy this morning. Not sure why. You're very cute. Yeah. Did you want to go outside? Oh, I shouldn't have even said it. Okay, I'll be right back. What? This is what I deal with every day. Want to go outside? She does. I'm back. I'm coming back. I'm back. Hello, I've returned. Okay, let's get this show on the road. Wow, I'm just taking forever. I don't need these. I think they really increase my character, sort of who I am. Okay, so let's look at this poll here. 7 responses. The first person on the list of people I could think is Honorable Clay Jenkins. He is a judge. He is a county judge. I have been curious about this and I've never looked it up. I don't actually know what his title is. Dallas County Judge. Because there's a lot of county judges. That is one. Clay Jenkins. Leroy Jenkins. I just want to figure out who he. Well, everything is about, I guess, the reason I want to thank him. I'm going to cough here in a second. It's going to be about. Okay. Yeah, so I can't figure out what his title is. He's just Dallas County Judge. There's got to be more. There's more than one judge in Rowlett City. And let me tell you, Dallas County is much bigger. It in fact includes Rowlett City. So there's got to be more than one judge. But he's probably just like the presiding judge or the chief judge or whatever. I'll find out at some point. But right now, when I Google his name, all I find is his response to the COVID pandemic. Wow, I'm starting to sound southern, I guess. So it's weird. As you may or may not know, let me just take these off. You may or may not know, Texas has had sort of an interesting response to the pandemic. And it has resulted in a lot of not great communication and just a lot of cases. One of the reasons for this, at least in my opinion, is that the governor didn't ever come up with a plan for the state. Whereas he has the resources, he's got a task force of professionals, medical and science professionals, epidemiologists, and as well as CEOs of major companies that live and work in Texas and stuff. So he's got a lot of different sides of the coin. Well, there's only 2 sides of the coin, but he's got a lot of them. He's got a lot of coins, I guess. I don't know. And he, so the Governor Abbott could, and maybe should, have done a state plan, a state preparedness plan, a state sort of this is when we'll reopen plan, or setting out guidelines for the counties or the cities, or what, whatever. I mean, counties makes more sense because counties, like Harris County, I think it's Harris County, is where Houston is. If you just said Houston, the city, it wouldn't include all of Harris County. Or no, yeah, no, it wouldn't. So, but Harris County is pretty much all Houston, to my knowledge. Oh, I don't know. I'm talking out of general ignorance, having just moved to Texas like 2 years ago, and having never been to Houston. But anyway, the governor didn't do that. He didn't really try. Like, the stuff that he did was not what was not what would have been most useful. So regardless of the fact that we definitely reopened too early, and that our cases are on the rise, our leadership is really what I'm complaining about here, is that our leadership has been non-leady, I guess. So I want to thank the Honorable Clay Jenkins for being the guy at least where I live, who is taking responsibility for like the decision making around reopening and what that should look like, and things like mask orders. We had mask orders before we weren't allowed to. Another thing that Governor Abbott did was prevent cities from putting in mask orders. So, but before he did that, the Dallas County had a mask order in place. Anyway, the reason I want to thank Clay Jenkins, though, is specifically, I'm just like really frustrated with how things have been across the country, across the board. I don't know that I haven't talked to too many people about how their states are handling it differently than Texas, but I know for me personally, both Texas and then the federal government has not really engendered a lot of confidence in their response to the pandemic. And regardless of what you think about the administration, I think one of the key aspects of being of leading a country or a state at this time, at a time like this, once in a lifetime, hopefully, thing, is to inspire hope and confidence in your people. We don't have that. And I don't know, you can't say it's all their fault, but you certainly can't say that they're trying anything different, like they're working against it either. So, and that upsets me. But the Honorable Clay Jenkins, you just keep saying it like that. I want to thank him because I heard this story and it's like, wow, is it like third, like very removed from me. A person who goes to my church, whose son, I believe, is a respiratory therapist at a hospital in Dallas. And so this is coming from her, who's coming from him. Maybe, because I don't even know if it's her son or if it's just somebody she knows. But anyway, he's a respiratory therapist at a hospital in Dallas, and he was going through I think he was going through their COVID ward and doing, respiratory therapies with people. And he came across these older people, like 60, 70, older, who were in the ward and they were roomed together. And he came in and he's like, all right, here's some activities, some therapies that we're going to work on to try to keep your, I don't know, your oxygen level high, I would assume. I don't know. And again, my friend from church, her son told my friend from church that they said, wow, we just want to thank you for coming in here at all. And he's like, well, what do you mean? This is my job. Of course I would come in here. Like, you matter. And it's important that you like do these activities and feel better and be able to breathe fuller. And they said, well, it just feels like, since we've been here, no one in this hospital has really come to see us, or like checked in on us, or we haven't seen really anybody except like the main doctor for like once. Like, it just seems like people don't care about us because we're old, we have COVID. And my friend's son is like, oh no, you do matter. Of course you matter. We don't know how to help you the way that we want to, but we're doing everything we can, and we want the best for you, and we're really looking out for you. And these ladies said, well, if you care about us, that makes two people in all of Dallas County, you and the Honorable Clay Jenkins. Because Jenkins has been the one putting things in place to try to keep everybody safe. Because it's pretty hard. Like I said, like, it's got to come from a county level, because if you just did Dallas City, like if the mayor of Dallas did something, there's a lot of people who don't work in Dallas but don't live in Dallas. And then you've got this, like, the more spread out your rules are, the harder it is for people to follow them, and also the harder it is for them to actually mean anything. So, I think it's good that it's coming from the county. I don't know why it's coming from the judge and not the commissioner, but I don't understand these things 100%. Anyway, so that conversation that was not overheard by me, but was evidently overheard by somebody else. But it reflects the sort of sense that I'm feeling too, of this is a difficult time for everybody. Leaders not excluded. Like, I can't imagine. I would never want to be president of the United States. I would never want to be governor of a state. But definitely during these two times, during this time, I would not want to be in either of those two things. Because I feel like there's not a lot of precedent or advice, or there's a wide spectrum of possibilities, and a very narrow spectrum of them are actually good ones to choose. And so it's difficult. It's extra difficult, I think. And so I really respect Judge Jenkins in the way that he has sort of taken that leadership role upon himself, and taken a lot of flack for it. And like, there's a lot of decisions that he's made that have been a little bit weird, but but I appreciate the hard work that he has done and is doing to try to make people feel at least like someone cares, and like they're trying to keep them safe. That's Judge Jenkins. I have now talked for 20 minutes. Let's move on. Number B, letter B on my voting thing is my old roommate, Mark. So this is a big turnaround. He is not a judge, and he does not live in Texas. But my old roommate, Mark. So Mark and I met in college, and he was like a grade level younger than me, I guess. About 14 months younger than me or something like that. And we didn't live together in college ever, I guess, which is weird to think about. But so after college, I moved to Pennsylvania, and he graduated the next year. And I think he lived in Michigan for a year after that too. I don't really remember the timeline of how things work, but about the time that I started grad school, he was moving down to Pennsylvania to he was going to have a summer sort of internship thing at a camp doing art teaching. And I think art education has been something that he's wanted to be into for a while. I'm not sure if it was something like that at that point was new, but it was something that at that time I think he was trying to pursue. And also, the person who ran the camp, or the person who ran that position in the camp, also ran a or had made an offer, had encouraged Mark to apply for artist in residence or residency. And I'm not going to try to explain what that is because I'm going to do that badly. But Mark is a ceramics artist, a potter, if you will. And although he doesn't just make pots, which is why I feel weird calling him a potter. I don't know if that's what people call them anymore, but he's a ceramicist. And so he moved to Pennsylvania for the summer school thing. And because it was just going to be summer, he lived with us. We had an extra room and all that stuff. And then he applied for that residency and he got it. And so then he started like looking for apartments, but the residency didn't pay anything. So he also needed a job. And he didn't get paid much at the summer camp either. So I don't honestly remember those early days, what the situation was in terms of like getting a job or anything. But it just sort of happened that like the summer passed and like a couple months passed and he's like, hey, I'm still living with you. Is that okay? And like my thought had been originally that yes, that would probably happen. I don't remember why exactly, but I was just like pretty sure that he was going to live with us for longer than the summer. So I was perfectly fine with it. Anyway, that was like summer 2015-ish, I want to say. And then we lived together until 2015 to 2018. Like, I think he moved January or February of 2018 to a different apartment in Pittsburgh. And we moved in April to Texas. But in that time, I have a lot to thank Mark for. But what specifically made me think of this was, think of adding him to this list was, and it's sort of similar to somebody I had on my list a few weeks prior to this. Mark he's a ceramic artist, but he also, the job that he did eventually get, or a job that he did eventually get, was at the Children's Museum. And he worked the Children's Museum. No, is it the Children's? Yeah, the Children's Museum. And he did their sort of like art stuff. And they did a lot of different art at the Children's Museum. The Children's Museum was super fun. If you ever get a chance to go to any children's museum, because a lot of them are connected and similar, definitely go. I mean, bring a child if you can, but a lot of the things that I went to the Children's Museum were like after hours things where they had specifically for adults, and it was super fun. Very interactive exhibits, and also just a lot of fun. I don't know what to say. But Mark specifically did the art stuff there. And he would bring stuff home, and he would also just like do art on our like dining room table. And I don't know, it was just, he did art a lot. And I remember, I don't know why it really surprised me, but I remember it like surprised me a bit because I'm super lazy. If I'm going to like relax or something, historically, my decision has always been I've wanted to play video games, but that's too much work. So then I'll just watch TV. And so that would be, and at some point, well, no, so I guess like this is the thing. So I would just watch TV because I got so lazy that it was just like any amount of effort it took to do anything did not feel relaxing. So, the setup of anything, if I had to paint, I had to set something up. If I had to play a video game, I had to play. I had to like get involved. If I wanted to read, I had to read in a way that made me not fall asleep because I can fall asleep anywhere. So I can't just like read sitting in a really comfortable chair. I have to read intentionally, otherwise I fall asleep. So I would never do those things. I would just watch TV. At least that's what I remember. Maybe someone can correct me, but I'm pretty sure that's what I did. I also take my dog on walks, but that wasn't relaxing. That was I needed to achieve that. Anyway, so Mark really demonstrated, I got a like on this video. That's nice. Probably from Mark. But the Mark sort of, as we say in the therapy field, he modeled for me what it looks like to actively do things that make you happy. Specifically, he modeled for me actively doing art to make you happy. And it was a slow process for me to be willing to pick that up. I was just with my nieces last week, and I was painting. I was painting with them, and I was showing them how to use watercolors a bit. But they also had I also had like these little scratch paper things. You know, you have like a stylus and like the black paper, and you can scratch it off the black paper, and then like it shows the, in this case, glittery paper beneath, because I'm awesome. I mean, it was only one color, which really bummed me out, but it was glittery. And so yeah, I was like showing them how to do something, and we were also like doing some doodling and stuff. And my one niece, I forget exactly what we were doing and how this came about, but she was starting to get frustrated, and she's like, this is why I don't do this, because then I just get frustrated with myself because it doesn't look the way I want it to. And that was totally me. Like I was scared of art because it was so difficult to do stuff, not know ahead of time that it was going to look okay, and that I was going to be proud of it. And so it felt, honestly, like what it felt like was a waste of time. It felt like I was wasting my time by trying to do art, because at the end of the experience, it didn't look the way I wanted it to anyway. So what was the point of all of it? But Mark is a way better artist than me. So like, it's not like he was, making sloppy messes all over the place and being like, well, it looks fine to me. But he was really encouraging. And then he was also just like really non-judgmental of himself. And really, I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know how else to say it other than he just modeled a way of being creative and happy about it. And I really appreciate that now, because, and I think I've said this before, the art that I have sort of pursued over these COVID times has been probably the best thing about COVID. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to be a good thing about COVID. There's only like 2 of those. So, but it's definitely my favorite thing to do now is to like sit down and paint. And I was so excited last week when I went to Colorado to see my family, and I was able to bring paints with me, and we were all sitting around the picnic table painting, and it was really, really fun. And sort of remembering what that feeling was of like being scared or like not enjoying something because I wasn't good at it. And yeah, and I really appreciate the effect that Mark had on me in that specific way. That is specifically what I'm thanking him for, because I have a lot of things I could thank him for, but that specific thing is what I'm talking about today. The last one, and this, I should like figure out a way to like, I shouldn't just extemporaneously talk about these people, because then I always like short shrift. Short shrift is one thing, but it's not what I was meaning to say. Anyway, the third person always gets, I want to say shanked. That's not right. Anyway, they always get the short end of the stick. I'll just say it that way. This last person is my trauma professor. So I went to grad school for social work, and I focused while I was there on, I can't remember what the certificate was called. I think this was called Children and Youth, and no, Children and Families, maybe. Yeah, that might be it. Might have been it. And it might have been children, youth, and families, which is funny because in Pennsylvania, that's what CPS is called, is children, youth, and families. But yeah, so I was in the children and families certificate program, which like outlines what classes you should take. Like these classes all sort of matter to the certificate or whatever. The certificate doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but like it just sort of was a guideline for which classes to take. And I say towards the end, like it wasn't a 2-year program, so not. It was a short program. This looks like someone else's arm. Like, look how tan this arm is. I don't think this arm is quite as tan. Oh, it's not so bad. Can't show it to you. It's weird because that's what I'm doing. But yeah, they look relatively the same. They weren't for a long time because this is the arm. I had a trucker's tan. This is the arm that like rests on the side of the car when I'm driving. It's got tan. Then I worked really hard to make sure this arm also got tan. So, but the rest of me is not tan at all. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, got distracted. So I had to take what did I took in my second year. My second year, I took my like advanced. I don't even remember what they were. Advanced human behavior in the social environment classes, maybe. I don't know. And I got to pick them. And the first one I picked was fall of that year. I picked a child maltreatment class. So it was a class about, it was about child maltreatment. Why people do it, what people do, what happens to kids, and how to respond to kids who have been maltreated, mistreated. And it's called child maltreatment because not all maltreatment is abuse classified. There's like legal classifications of abuse, and not all abuse. And abuse isn't like the only thing that we talked about. Anyway, you'd think, and you would be correct, that it was a super downer class, but it was taught by such an excellent professor, and it was so enlightening and so. It's probably, if I was going to pick the single most important class that I took in graduate school for what I have done since, that would be it. Yeah, that is definitely like the most important class to all of the work that I've done. And then because that professor was so good, I was like, okay, I want to make sure I take her other classes while I still have time. And so the next semester, I took her trauma class. Yeah, I think it was just called trauma. I don't remember. But it was about trauma. It was about what trauma is, what a trauma response is, how you should respond to a trauma response, what all the different kinds of trauma that there are, and sort of what that means for society and individuals. Also, sounds like a downer class. And also, you would be right. It was a downer class. We talked a lot about a lot of bad stuff. But again, really good professor. And also, because the professor was so good, it like almost didn't matter who was in your class. Like there were people in both classes who I had in other classes and I didn't like them, especially, or I didn't agree with them, or we had like clearly differing opinions on like various aspects of being in the world. But it didn't matter so much in this class because the professor was really able to bring us all together and make it work regardless. So I really appreciated that. And they were easily my two most memorable classes, just because like I just like soaked in everything that I was learning, and also like my two favorite classes as well. Anyway, so I would thank her for that. I would, like I said, the two most important classes to like the work that I do now. So I would thank her for preparing me well for the jobs that I've had since grad school. That is what I would thank her for. All right, so those are our 3 people, and now I've gone over, so now I really need to see the results of this poll. There's only 7 responses still, but I'm just going to assume that everyone has responded who wants to respond. I have given you like 3 weeks, so it's fine. It's fair. Oh my goodness, this is not what I was expecting. And also, it does not work out well for the amount of time that I have spent talking. Because we've got 1 vote for Clay Jenkins. Didn't think he was sort of a dark horse. I didn't really think he was going to work. My old roommate Mark got 2 votes, and then my trauma professor got 4 votes. And I'm gonna say that this is either one person voting 4 times, or a surprising number of my Facebook friends from grad school voted on this poll, because literally anyone who took her classes with me would have voted for her. So I'm surprised though, because I didn't think that they paid attention or like watched these at all. So I'm surprised that she got that many votes. Anyway, my trauma professor, Dr. Liz Winter. All right, I gotta write her a thank you note. Should I write it on a postcard? Should I write it? Should I type it? I don't know. I didn't think about this. She was my professor. She's like a big deal. What is she even? Okay, she's got a website. Maybe. Oh no. No, I don't think she does. Midwifery. She also has like her PhD in social work, but then she also has, I think she was a lawyer. What? There's a Tumblr? It's a Tumblr? Oh my god, she has a Tumblr. Yeah, she got her MA in jurisprudence from the University of Oxford. Mic drop. I'm confused how a feature-length documentary that presents the lives of 2 adolescent boys who identify as gay from a young age. So maybe she is in this or part of it. Huh. I can't even tell what year this is, except that there is something happening in June at an enchantment ballroom. So it's got to not be this year. Oh, it does say 2011. Oh, wait, no. Why? Oh, on this page. Okay, I'm confused. I don't know. I don't know why this came up, except that she's obviously on it, so I don't know. Oh my gosh, she was on the Social Work Podcast. I need to go listen to that. Well, the only website that I'm finding for her is from my school in Pittsburgh, the University of Pittsburgh. I mean, her email is the same. I suppose I could write her an email. Oh, no. I can't do that. I can't do that. I don't not email her now. I mean, I don't email her often, but I think I've emailed her within the past year about just a thing. So I can't do that. That's just too, it doesn't do what I want it to do. I don't know how well she would take my DC Comics postcards or my Star Wars postcards. And I was about to say she'd love my Queen of England postcards, but I think that's too on the nose. She's English. Ooh, I did not think about this. I have some blank cards. Maybe I'll just do that. I'll just do a blank card and say, write thank you on it, like a pro. And let's see, what colors should I use? Because they're blank, but they're colorful. I don't remember the last time, because I did one of these. I think I did the one to the not the Humane Society, the Animal Control people, DSW, Critter Control or whatever. Hi, you're back. It's so cute. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. My trauma professor also she keeps therapy dogs. And I wanted for a really long time to also get a dog and train it to be a therapy dog. Because I met her dogs, and also I just liked the concept of a therapy dog. And I really want Juno to be a therapy dog. We're struggling with the training aspect of it right now, but we did manage one, and she did pretty well. And I think if I kept at it, she could continue. This pen doesn't work. She could continue to improve, and it would be great. And I have full faith. Does this pen work? It does. Okay. I have full faith that she would be a great therapy dog. I do just have to figure out a way to do the training still. And now there is training around here. It's just I can't go to it because well, I mean that not just like I'm sick right now, but like I said, I think this is a cold, but I don't know. I got tested on Monday. We'll see. Dear Dr. Winter, today is August 13th? Yes, 13th. Oh, hey, it's my cousin and my brother's anniversary. Ooh, they did not get married to each other. But they did get married on the same day, many years apart, 5 years apart, in fact. Anyway, happy anniversary to them. I accidentally said happy anniversary to them 2 days ago because I also have friends who got married on that day and I get confused. Anyway, moving on. Distracted. Dear Dr. Winter, I just wanted to thank you. I hope you are well. I'm writing. Wow. That's an interesting way of writing an M. Writing to thank you for the two. Wow, it's an interesting way of making a W. I hope she can read this. Two most engaging and continuously or continually? Continually or continuously? I mean, honestly, I think I could use either one in this situation. It's just a matter of which one makes more sense to other people. Continuously would mean they are always useful all the time from here on out. continually means they are repeatedly useful since I took the classes. And both are true. Like, I don't think I go a day without thinking about something from one of those classes, in life and in work. Maybe that tells you the kind of life I live. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. And eternally, I'll just get around it. Eternally useful. That sounds more poetic, and I don't know how she'll feel about that. We'll just go with it. Eternally useful classes. Graduate classes? Just classes? I mean, ooh. But if I literally say for the two most, and then I say all classes, then I'm also including classes that I took in undergrad. And that seems mean because I really like my undergrad professors as well. So I'm just going to graduate classes. It's not my undergraduate professor's fault that I can't remember things that happened 10 years ago. Like, that was a long time ago. And I can remember some of them. One of my undergrad professors was on this list a couple weeks ago. So, graduate classes. I use, and there were books on the reading lists for these two classes that I give out as gifts to people. That seems weird, doesn't it? But it's okay. You don't know what these books are, and they are fascinating. One is over there. I was using it as my tripod when I had my other laptop over there. And it's called Born for Love. You know what? Let me just grab it. I think this is from the trauma class. Born for Love by Maya Salvitz and Dr. Bruce Perry. Very good book. I would recommend it to anyone who just wants to read about, there's like a card in here from my old doctor, but just to read about, it's the subtitle is Why Empathy is Essential and Endangered. And it's just really good it's basically a series of case studies, but really well written and engagingly written, about people's response to living in the world. I don't know how else to say it. Like, it was in the trauma class because a lot of the people in there have traumatic experiences, and their lives sort of demonstrate that in various ways after the traumatic experiences. But when I say it like that, it sounds very like, why would you want to read a book about someone else's trauma? And I didn't get that feeling. I mean, that's what the book is, but when you read it, it's very humanizing of all those people. It's not like, look at these people who have terrible lives and let's talk about them. It's more like, look at these terrible experiences that could happen to anyone and maybe have happened to you in your life, or you've been connected to them in some way. And let's talk about how there's like universal sort of like human response to some of these things that is, while it is sort of universal in that a lot of humans have like the same responses to these things, it is not universal because we don't all understand it. Even if it happened to us and it did the same thing to us, we wouldn't understand it if it happened. Anyway, I'm really messing that up. But anyway, read the book. Highly recommend. Anyway, there's also sort of a prequel. I mean, they're related and by they're the same authors, but and I think the other one was written first. I forget what it's called. I don't have it in physical copy because I had it on Kindle at school, but that's a very good book. And I would recommend that one too. Moving on. Oh, no. What was it called? The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog. That's not a title that sort of engenders excitement, but very good book also. Sorry. use the things you taught me. I'm just going to think I spelled taught wrong, but I didn't. It's just the A looks like an O. You taught me nearly every day. That's almost a dangling modifier. Both in my job and in my non-professional life. Personal life sounds like I'm struggling with trauma constantly. I need to talk about it, but it's just like my everyday life. I don't say my everyday life. My everyday life. I wrote every day, and every day, one right on top of the other. That's going to annoy me. I use the things you taught me in nearly every day, both in my jobs and in my everyday life. I said every day twice. I hate it. Whoops. Thank you for your hard work and your passion and your. Sometimes I just write a sentence and I don't finish it in my head, and I get to the end of it and I see what happens. Thank you for your hard work and passion. Oh, shoot, I'm going to get a call from work. I'm going to pause this real quick. Okay, I'm back. It was fine. Just an update from work. Everything's fine. I mean, not everything's fine. Someone at work has COVID, but it's fine. It's fine. Thank you for your hard work and passion and for passing them on to me. Stay well. That's what everybody says now. Stay well. Mary Margaret. And then, as always, like I do, I need to put the YouTube link on here. because I am thirsty. Is that not a thing you should say? I feel like this is not the first time I've asked that. D, Z, B. That looks like a 2. 7, G, underscore, thick. Okay. Well, it's been a joy and a dream, but I have to go to work now. And I will post this promptly. I hope I didn't. Yeah, okay. Well, but it's been a joy and a dream. And everybody have a great day. And I will see. No, I won't see you tomorrow. You will see me tomorrow for Flashback Friday. Don't do drugs. Stay in school.